NFL on CBS is live from Lambeau. We've got the Bills and the Packers coming up. Welcome back with kickoff after an exclusive look at the new movie, First Man. Back in Green Bay, 49 degrees. There was rain in the forecast, but we have not had any of the wet stuff here today. The Packers played on a soggy day in Washington, D.C. last week, lost 31-17 to the Redskins. The Bills coming off that 27-6 stunning victory over Minnesota. Lopsided game. They were a major underdog. So the Bills enter action at 1-2. The Packers are 1-1-1. They are wearing the throwback, Stan.
Yeah, aren't we lucky?
Looks like they're wearing Dockers on the bottom. Mason Crosby will kick it off. Green Bay won the toss. They've deferred. We're underway at Lambeau. Taiwan Jones, this is returnable for Buffalo. Jones slowed down as he hit the 20-yard line and chopped down right there. Oren Burks, the rookie on special teams, makes the play. Josh Allen certainly provided a spark last week for this Buffalo squad.
Yeah, he's averaging 4.5 yards a carry. And he told us yesterday that he hopes that the Packers will employ some type of spy on him in obvious passing situations, because that means there'll be one less pass rusher to harass him in the pocket.
He had never worked with a silent count in his football career until last week in Minnesota. He was assuming that he was going to have to do it again today here at Lambeau because it gets loud. Allen throws on first down outside to McCoy. And across the 25-yard line, they get McCoy involved right away. Touched by Blake Martinez, and it's a 7-yard completion.
And you can see the little shake and bake there on the outside as he gave Martinez a little look to the inside and then picked up 6 yards. Good first down play. Good read by the young quarterback, Allen.
6-time Pro Bowler LaShawn McCoy. He was a big cheerleader last week. Even though he wasn't in the game, he was fully engaged. Shotgun for Allen on 2nd and 3. Give it to McCoy. Not much of a hole, and he's bottled up after the gain of 2 for Buffalo. Sets up 3rd and short. Dean Lowry in on that stop. And some words being exchanged after the play. Lowry stepping in for Muhammad Wilkerson, who is done for the year. Placed on IR with a severe left ankle injury suffered last week. Green Bay, Dan, if you go back, second half of the Minnesota game, that was week 2, through the first half of the Washington game last week, they allowed 649 yards. That includes an overtime period against the Vikings.
That's the last 6 quarters for the Pack, and the good last 6 quarters for the Bills.
Yeah, Buffalo has turned it around after major struggles in the first 6 quarters. 3rd and 1. Ivory trying to power his way to the marker. He didn't get there. So after an encouraging first down call to McCoy, they can't get 3 yards in the next 2 downs. Kentrell Bryce among those to make sure that Ivory didn't get there.
Yeah, Vladimir Dukas kind of overran the hole there. He was pulling from his left guard spot, number 68. You can see Ivory just a little bit impatient maybe. He didn't allow Dukas to set up his block. Good stop by the Packers.
Corey Bojorquez will punt it. And the veteran Tramon Williams, the return man, standing at the 31-yard line for Green Bay. Bojorquez, rookie out of New Mexico. Williams camps under it and brought down at the 35-yard line. That's where the Packers will open up shop. Lafayette Pitts on special teams. 45-yard punt, 8-yard return. And here is Aaron Rodgers, 140 straight pass attempts going back to last season. No interceptions over that span.
And he felt that it was important for him to practice on Thursday despite his sore left knee. He felt the team needed a jolt. But along with the jolt, he delivered the message that there will be no more excuses accepted by anyone. Whatever the play call is, whatever decisions the coaches make, it's up to us as players to make it work.
Yeah, he said, no pointing the finger. We are judged by our performance. That was the message that he sent to the team practice on Thursday. Rodgers flips it to Jimmy Graham. Graham hit in the open field by Ryan Lewis, who is getting the start once again for the injured Phillip Gaines. It's a 5-yard pickup through the air for Green Bay.
That's exactly what Evan was talking about with Cobb out with that hamstring injury that he suffered in practice, that Graham will become more important for Aaron Rodgers in this passing game.
The 8-year veteran Byron Bell steps in for the injured Justin McCray at right guard. And off Jamal Williams. Flag down. Bill Vinovich is our referee today. 3-yard pickup for Williams.
Holding. Offense number 75. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
And it's Brian Balaga on that right side for the Packers.
And right at the point of attack, he reached out and grabbed. But it was a good move by Jamal Williams, stepping out of the tackle of Matt Milano, second-year linebacker.
Now, Mike McCarthy talked about just starting fast. All 3 phases have been slow out of the gate the first 3 weeks, trying to find a rhythm. Defensively, he thought they've had good stretches, but they haven't put together a collective performance on that side of the ball. Rodgers underneath. Davante Adams, the shake and bake. Across the 40-yard line. Beautiful move by Adams. 12 yards. Eventually, Jerry Hughes got there.
He's going to get a block from Allison, 81 right here on White, and then great move right there to get away from Micah Hyde and get close to a first down.
Adams has had a touchdown in all 3 games this season. He's got 25 touchdowns since the start of the 2016 season. That's the most in the NFL. 3rd and 3 for Green Bay. Ty Montgomery in. He's a threat to catch passes out of the backfield, now in motion. Rodgers operating out of the gun. Rodgers twirls. Rodgers will run for the first down. Slides at the 49. How the wheels look.
Pretty good. That's the Buffalo Bills, and that's Jerry Hughes, number 55 here, working against Bakhtiari. Good pressure there, but I don't think they expected that Rodgers would run out of the pocket. Watch Bakhtiari grab the back of Hughes' jersey here. Keep him from his quarterback. Gets away with it. 7-yard gain, first down.
So Green Bay on the move now at the 49. Kendricks in motion. A lead blocker. There's a hole. Jamal Williams accelerates for a first down. Tackled at the 40-yard line by Tremaine Edmonds. That's 11 yards on the ground.
Key block here in the middle by Corey Linsley. Double team there, comes off on the linebacker there, and that creates a huge gap. Blocked downfield by Adams. This is the fast start that McCarthy's looking for. 3 and out on defense, and now into Buffalo territory on offense.
Nickel package here for Buffalo. New set of downs for Green Bay. Fake it. Rodgers too high over the middle. He had Adams open.
Boy, and as hard as he throws the ball, if it's not on target, it's probably not going to be caught. Just out of the reach of Adams. It got on him in a hurry. But Rodgers looks very sharp so far. No ill effects of that knee as he stepped into that fastball.
Tre'Davious White had the coverage, one of the top young corners in the NFL. And this secondary plays with a lot of confidence. Poyer, Hyde, the former Packer, and Ryan Lewis. What a bang-up job he did last week. Promoted off the practice squad at corner. No room there for Jamal Williams. He spun down immediately. Eddie Yarbrough was over there. And Sean McDermott comes from that defensive background. He was the defensive coordinator with Carolina and Philadelphia. 6 years with the Panthers, 12 years with the Eagles. Started his career as a scouting administrative coordinator. We asked him about that job. He said, well, I sat in a very small room with a lot of beta tapes.
And had a lot of coaches come in and really make it difficult for him to do his work as they're picking out tapes.
So 3rd and 11 here for Green Bay. Opening series for the Packers after the Bills went 3 and out. Little jump. Got back on that Buffalo left side. And the play clock down to 0.
Delay a game.
Unless they got the timeout. We'll step aside. What if you get the seat right behind that guy? Sir, could you just move your wing, please? Just trying to see the action.
They can see them from miles away.
You can. They stand out. Well, for the Packers, Miles, that might be part of the thought process because they face third and long a lot. Third, and their average is 9.9 to go. That's the most in the NFL. Right now, it's a 3rd and 11 for Green Bay. They used the timeout as the play clock was winding down.
There's just been too many sacks and too many penalties, and Rodgers has been sacked 10 times already this season.
Shotgun for Rodgers. On 3rd and 11. It's a running play. It's Jamal Williams who's chopped down just short of the 40 by Taron Johnson, the rookie corner. Comes over to make the play. No gain.
Well, Johnson had Williams man-to-man coverage as he comes and he beats the block, the attempted block that time. By the tight end.
So 4th down for Green Bay. They were trying to get into field goal range. They did not. So J.K. Scott, who won a couple of national championships at Alabama, will punt it. Major hang time. That's been the theme for Scott so far in his rookie season. Micah Hyde, the former Packer, fair catch called for at the 6. 35-yard punt, well placed. We'll come back in 30 seconds after this from State Farm. So the Packers were hoping to catch the Bills napping a bit on a 3rd down run call, 3rd and long, and picked up no yards. Buffalo will take over deep in its own territory at the 6-yard line. No score, Bills and Packers. That was after a timeout for Green Bay. McCoy in the backfield with DeMarco. 1st down for Buffalo. Play fake. Allen throws it. Incomplete. He was trying to hit Kelvin Benjamin. The last week against the Vikings, 3rd and 9 for Allen in the 1st quarter. What does Josh Allen do? He leaps over Anthony Barr. He jumped about 4 feet in the air, 4 yards forward. Is that raising the bar? Is that lowering the bar? It was the leap heard around Western New York.
One small step for man, one giant leap for Bills fans.
No doubt. Josh Allen is 22 years old. He is 6'5", 237 pounds. A terrific athlete. 2nd and 10, throws it away. Zay Jones was in the vicinity for Buffalo. So, has this caught on? Yeah, absolutely. There's shirts being made. Jumpman 17. Allen. Is that Marcus Allen? No. Josh Allen.
I even saw a Buffalo Bills fan with a tattoo of the leap over the Buffalo logo.
In our hotel? Where'd you see him?
That was in the bar.
Really?
Where else?
I hope that was last night. Or this morning. Nickel package for Green Bay. Buffalo facing a 3rd and 10. Play clock winding down. Allen has the time. Tosses very high. Kelvin Benjamin just pointed at Alexander. Jair Alexander, the rookie out of Louisville.
That's 2 good plays in a row by Alexander. One was on the slant, and then he just blanketed Benjamin along the sidelines. You could see how quickly Allen decided to just get rid of those last 2 passes and avoid the safety sack.
Dan, they had the ball for a grand total of 13 seconds on that possession.
That's what happens when you throw incomplete passes.
Bojorquez will punt it again. Green Bay should have excellent field position. Left-footed punter, Tramon Williams. Fair catch. And ranges back to the 43.5-yard line. Well, it's been a frustrating time for Benjamin. A bunch of drops early in the season and sticking the finger in the face of Alexander.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Pizza Hut, official pizza sponsor of the NFL. AARP. Take on today with AARP. Real possibilities. And by T-Mobile, America's most loved wireless brand.
Just down the road in Kiel, Wisconsin, family-owned Hennings. They've been making award-winning cheese for over 100 years. The Cheeseheads populating Lambeau as usual. No score, 7:54 to play in this opening quarter. The Bills and the Packers. Buffalo's actually won 5 straight games against the NFC North, including that win last week in Minnesota. Pitch it. Montgomery. The former wide receiver, Ty Montgomery, a dual threat as he's met by his former teammate Micah Hyde, gain of 9. Well, September here at Lambeau, last 5 seasons, the Packers have gone 8-0-1 at home in the month of September, averaging just over 29 points per game, plenty of yards, and a +7 turnover differential. You have to go back to week 1 of 2012 against San Francisco, the last time Green Bay lost a game here at home in September. Rodgers goes down. He got tangled up off the snap.
Yeah, it looked like his center, Lindsley, stepped on his right foot, and he wisely pulled the ball back in. You can see the trip right there. Thought he could get it to his running back, Montgomery, but smartly hung on to it.
So it sets him back to the 50-yard line, a loss of 3. 3rd and 4 for Green Bay, a 4-receiver set. And now Montgomery will shift to the backfield. On 3rd down for the Packers. Rodgers floats it downfield. Montgomery slips loose. Ty Montgomery, big gain. Hit by Jordan Poyer. Well, the Packers are set up with a 1st and goal.
Yeah, Rodgers' ability to buy a little bit of time there. You can see the coverage just totally dropped by the Bills secondary. Poyer had to come over to make the tackle. Good job here by Bakhtiari, pushing Hughes beyond the pocket. Rodgers steps up and gets a 43-yard gain, and a Bill, Micah Hyde, shaken up.
Micah Hyde, his first 4 years in the NFL as a member of the Packers, 5th-round pick in 2013. We asked him about coming back here. He said, positive memories, loved my time in Green Bay. They gave me my first opportunity in the NFL. And Hyde is limping as he makes his way back to the Bills sideline.
Well, how did Montgomery get so wide open? Here he is in the backfield, but the Bills are so concerned with the hook route here of Davante Adams. He gets almost a little pick. That's a great job by Adams, working on the linebacker Milano, not making contact, forcing Milano off his track and allowing Montgomery to get all the way down the field inside the 10-yard line. Again, it was Rodgers stepping up in the pocket, allowing Bakhtiari to run the dangerous Jerry Hughes beyond the pocket that set up that big play.
Raphael Bush, the 8-year veteran, steps in for Micah Hyde. Packers trying to strike first. Give it to Montgomery. Squeezes through. Montgomery is tackled inside the 5. Star Latulele and Jordan Poyer collaborate. Gain of 4 for Montgomery.
Now this has been Montgomery's series of plays. We saw Jamal Williams to start the ball game. We'll also see some of Aaron Jones later, but Montgomery gives the Packers their most versatile back. We talked about his pass receiving skills. Also very elusive in the open field as a runner.
We asked McCarthy about the running back philosophy. He said, fresh back mentality. We lean towards the hot hand. We want all 3 backs to contribute. 2nd and goal for Green Bay. Montgomery flanks Rodgers. Rodgers has time. Rodgers looks, throws it off the hand of Montgomery. Incomplete. 3rd and goal.
Now, the Bills can't afford to give Rodgers this much time. You can see he wasn't even gripping this ball by the laces, just off target a little bit, trying to be a little bit too fine here. The ball just kind of sails on him. Setting up this 3rd and goal.
Adams on the outside for Green Bay. Packers looking to strike first. Fake it. Rodgers on time. A strike to Jimmy Graham. Touchdown, Packers. And a Lambeau leap.
Why not? First touchdown of the year for Jimmy Graham. He's learned his lessons about what you do after you score. Nice job here with the pick route. Got away with it. Geronimo Allison with a super job to free Graham at the goal line for the score.
Five-time Pro Bowler signed to a 3-year, $30 million deal by Green Bay. And McCarthy telling us that he didn't think the statistics reflect how successful Graham will be in this system. Off the upright, Crosby missed it. 34-year-old, the Packers' all-time leader in points, just left a point off the board. It's Rodgers to Graham, but it's 6-0 Green Bay in the first. Hunter Bradley's had some problems snapping the ball early in the season. That was not an issue, though, on this extra point attempt. Crosby just flat out missed it.
And he hits 98% of his extra points in his career.
On the ensuing kick, he put it over the head of Taiwan Jones. Touchdown for the Packers. Jimmy Graham gets to experience a Lambeau leap for the first time in his Green Bay career. When was the first one, Dan? December of 1993. Reggie White recovers a fumble. He laterals it to teammate Leroy Butler, runs it into the end zone, and just kept on going. Celebrating.
You like alliteration, right?
I do.
Lateral, Leroy, Lambeau leap.
Oh, yeah. That's 4.
That is 4. That's a lot.
That's fantastic. Line of scrimmage is the 25-yard line for Buffalo, trailing 6-0. Chris Ivory's in. Ivory, violent runner, takes it across the 30-yard line. Clay Matthews coming over to make the stop. It's a 7-yard gain for Buffalo. Ivory formerly with New Orleans, the Jets, Jacksonville. He just runs with fury, and Sean McDermott mentioned that he could sense the offensive line and the entire offense last week looking to step it up physically because what Ivory brings to the table. And now you've got a pick your poison. McCoy and Ivory both in there. It's Ivory. And opening, Ivory shoots for the first down at the 36. Antonio Morrison with a tackle. Let's check in with Evan Washburn. Evan?
Well, guys, an observation on Josh Allen after 2 quick and unsuccessful drives. You mentioned it, Ian, the noise factor here, much different. He's not benefiting from those early turnovers that his defense forced against the Vikings, and it's having an effect. That was the longest possession where he dealt with coaches and other players on the sideline. Also, quick update, guys. Micah Hyde, it's a groin. He's questionable to return, but he has his helmet.
Yeah, last week they forced and recovered fumbles on the Vikings' first 2 possessions. Charles Clay for Buffalo.
And because of that great field position, they were able to jump out on the Vikings, but it's been a different story so far here today at Lambeau. Field position has not been in the Bills' favor as it was last week.
The Bills this year have the highest percentage of drops on catchable passes in the league. 12% of the passes from Buffalo QBs have been dropped. McCoy on a 2nd and 10. Allen, 4 straight incompletions. That streak ends. Carrying it like a loaf of bread, LaShawn McCoy did a whole lot of running. Reggie Gilbert among those there. He picks up 2 yards.
We're talking to Clay Matthews about LaShawn McCoy. He says every play could be a reverse. Every play is that you got to be at the point of attack because he can turn it into a type of run like that. But he's got to drive coaches crazy holding the ball out there with one hand.
We approach 3 minutes to go in this first quarter. 3rd and 8 for Buffalo. Bills have been held to 22 total yards. Allen pulls the trigger. Catch made by Clay and a first down. Quiets the crowd for a moment. 10 yards on the hookup.
That time he took his time and didn't rush the throw. Really set his feet well, stepped into the throw, and found Clay, number 85 here, on a little hook route. 10 yards and a first down, and a little momentum for the Bills and Josh Allen.
Clay said that Allen throws the tightest spiral that he has ever seen.
And sometimes the ball whistles.
Handed off to Ivory. Extra yards with the legs churning as Ivory falls forward for 5. Why does it whistle, Dan?
Well, where you insert the needle into the ball, there's a little protrusion there.
Yes.
And if you throw a really tight spiral, for some reason, that protrusion makes the ball whistle. You buying that?
No, not really. Is that fact, or is that just a Danism?
No, I heard somebody else that could throw a real tight spiral. And I heard that noise.
The fact that you worked in the word protrusion twice in one sentence has got to be an NFL broadcasting record. 1:50 to go here in the opening quarter. Bills are on the move in Green Bay territory. Allen hits as he throws and flings it downfield. Streaking there was Taiwan Jones with Antonio Morrison putting the heat.
Well, Morrison comes free right up the middle. Watch this blitz. 44. And he just drills. Allen does not land on him. Twists away, so no roughing the passer, although that was a rough hit by Morrison.
Brings up 3rd and 5 for Buffalo. Josh Allen is 3 of 8 for 19 yards. He's facing 5 defensive backs for Green Bay. Allen out of the pocket. Allen looking to run potentially. No, he'll throw it. Slings it. Incomplete. McCoy, the intended receiver.
It was like the effects of the previous hit by Morrison that forces Allen out of the pocket here where he didn't need to come out of the pocket. He'll go back to this hit. Now watch, it's textbook. Shoulder into the midsection and then spinning and not carrying the quarterback to the ground under your weight as a tackler. Smart play by Antonio Morrison.
So the Buffalo drive stalls just across midfield, and Bojorquez will punt it. Tramon Williams at the 10. Kick sails to the 11, returnable for Williams. And gang tackled as he crossed the 15 after the 6-yard return, 36-yard punt. Pitts on special teams makes the play. 6-0 Packers in the first.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by McDonald's. And by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
Back here in Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers, 46 yards passing on that last drive, and his first touchdown pass in the first quarter this season. Aaron Jones is in. Jones in his second year out of Texas El Paso. Rodgers with a bullet to Devontae Adams. Hit by Tre'Davious White of Buffalo. That's 9 yards.
Now this is as good as Rodgers has looked. Check out the mobility here on a 3rd and 3. He picks up 7 with a safe slide, then stepping up into the pocket, connects for 43 yards to Montgomery down the sidelines. But he's just a flick of the wrist. Really benefited from playing a lot of shortstop in his youth. Never seen a quarterback being able to throw from any angle, but I think a lot of it has to do with that shortstop experience. Turning that double play sometimes.
2nd and 1 for Green Bay. Jones, they fake it. Rodgers, deep ball, one-on-one, flag down, and it's over the head of Jimmy Graham. So battling with Taron Johnson.
And they're going to call holding on Johnson.
Prior to the pass, holding. Defense over 24. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Now, Sean McDermott telling us we have a lot of first and second year players that we are putting a lot of responsibility on their shoulders. So that's part of the learning process right now. trying to see how this team develops early in the season. Feels that these guys have grown a lot, even over the last 6 quarters. Johnson's a rookie out of Weber State, 4th-round pick, 2017 Big Sky Defensive Player of the Year. Matched up with a savvy veteran like Jimmy Graham, who set it down for Green Bay. Big hole for Jones. Aaron Jones, explosive abilities. The stiff arm by Jones. Raphael Bush in for Micah Hyde on the receiving end. And Jones moves into Buffalo territory.
Yeah, it's a classic stiff arm right here to the head of Bush, and Bush crashes down to the side of his head. 30-yard gain, longest rush of the season for Jones. Only been in his 2nd game.
So the Packers are set up inside the Buffalo 40. Final seconds of the first. And they won't run a play.
That is the end of the first quarter.
Second quarter action coming up. Green Bay with a 6-0 lead on Buffalo. The NFL on CBS continues from Lambeau. The Bills and the Packers, Week 4. Back at Lambeau, opened back in 1957. A number of renovations through the years, but this is truly a special place. 6-0 lead for Green Bay over Buffalo. The Bills came in leading the NFL in pressure rate, at least putting heat on the quarterback. They have been nowhere near Aaron Rodgers so far this afternoon. Rodgers operating with a 1st and 10, first play of the second quarter. Flicks it on the outside and gets Geronimo Allison involved. Allison, big target out of Illinois. Rodgers trusts him and feels as if with opportunities he has a chance to be a serious impact player.
Well, part of the reason they're not getting any pressure is Rodgers getting rid of the ball quickly. The fake to Jones and then right out of his hand to a receiver, and another stiff arm by Packer to a Bill.
Second down.
Lewis bouncing his head on the ground as the ball is popped out and out of bounds.
So they'll place it just inside the 30-yard line. Not quite enough for a first down. 2nd and a little less than a yard for Green Bay. Already on the board with a touchdown, Rodgers to Jimmy Graham. But Mason Crosby missed the extra point off the right upright. 2nd and short. Fake it on a bootleg. Rodgers looks downfield, tosses it high in the air, nearly caught by Adams. On a rainbow from Rodgers, Tre'Davious White holds up in coverage.
Yeah, he had great coverage all the way across the field. And Rodgers hoping that this one would come down in friendly hands, almost does. Good adjustment to the ball by Adams. He sees it now heading towards the goal line. But look at White. He's right there stride for stride to prevent the touchdown.
Third and a yard for Green Bay. Valdez Scantling, the motion man. Running play for Jones. Has enough for the first down. Needed a yard, got 3. We toss it to Evan Washburn.
Guys, appears to be tough news for safety Micah Hyde making his return to Green Bay. His status is still questionable to return with that groin injury, but he doesn't look like a guy who's going back in this game. Kind of tossed his helmet, was clearly visibly upset with the news that groin might be just too much to get back in this one.
He's been such a big part of this Buffalo defense. Signed a 5-year, $30 million deal last year. Was a jack of all trades with Green Bay, and Sean McDermott kept scouting him on television, and he would pop up in different roles. First down for the Packers. Jones redirects. Another stiff arm. But this time Buffalo swarms to Jones. They were not going to let him bust loose. Jerry Hughes and Taron Johnson combine. It's a loss of 3.
First time we've called Jerry Hughes' name in a positive way today. Watch as he is not going to allow Jones to get around and on a one-man reverse. Good balance for the Packers so far. 19 plays, 9 rushes, 10 passes.
7th play of the drive for Green Bay. From the gun. Rodgers flips it to Jones. Has blockers, tripped up. Jones didn't go down. Aaron Jones remaining upright for a first down. 16 yards on the catch and run.
Now this is a great screen pass. Really paid off by Jones here. Look at that balance. Right hand goes down to keep his knees off the ground. Bell gets out in front. They had 3 blockers out in front of Jones on that perfectly executed screen.
First down for the Packers, early stages, second quarter. Rodgers out of the pocket. Rodgers has room. Rodgers slides inside the 5. And just grabbing at that knee.
Well, he's getting the grass out of his knee. Out of the knee brace there. He slid hard on his left knee and brought up a lot of Lambeau turf. Good coverage by the Bills. Graham trying to go to the end zone where he can use his height, but by this time, Rodgers is going to has already tucked it under his arm, and watch the knee brace dig up a lot of turf here.
Yep. First and goal for the Packers. Snap it quickly. And the play whistle dead. The official was right in the middle as the Packers got to the line quickly and tried to get it going.
Green Bay substituted, and Buffalo was not able to get off the field. The officials were not in position. We're going to reset the play clock. First down.
So that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, the officials have got to do more wind sprints. That's the way the game's played now. I mean, the teams offensively have the right to go hurry up to catch the defense, but they shouldn't be able to catch the officials.
Dan, that was the umpire, Bruce Strateski. He just wasn't ready. The Packers were.
Now with Rodgers, you've got to be ready. Defensively and I guess also officially.
First and goal for Green Bay. It's a run. Jones slices in for the touchdown. Aaron Jones. They believe he can be a major difference maker, and we're already seeing plenty of signs of it today in this first half.
Well, Raphael Bush taking the place of Micah Hyde. He's going to get run over here right at the goal line. Tremendous balance for Jones. Back-to-back runs now for him where he's shown after contact his ability to maintain his feet and get into the end zone.
Aaron Rodgers said he has Ryan Grant similarities, former Packers running back, but maybe a little more explosive, can keep his speed up when he plants his foot on the ground, and said he's just a great kid. Crosby tacks on the extra point. The Packers with a 13-0 lead on Buffalo in the second. Nine plays, 83 yards for Green Bay. Just over 5 minutes off the game clock, capped off by the Jones 3-yard touchdown run. He was tremendous on that drive, not just running the ball, but a big catch as well. And the Packers lead at 13-0 against Buffalo. This is a challenging formula here for the Bills. Rookie quarterback on the road, down 13-0 in a tough environment at Lambeau. Jones, the return man, slowed down and dropped at the 15-yard line. Tomorrow, Cedric the Entertainer and Max Greenfield star in the new comedy critics call Laugh Out Loud Funny. The Neighborhood. It premieres tomorrow at 8, 7 Central, only CBS. Allen is 3 of 9, 19 yards. accuracy. That was a question mark regarding Allen coming out of Wyoming. Last week went 15 of 22, 196 yards, a touchdown. He did fumble the ball 3 times. The Bills recovered all 3. Had the 2 rushing touchdowns. LaShawn McCoy gets the call and picks up 4.5.
Yeah, bad field position and maybe too quick of a trigger for Allen, throwing the ball away in this first quarter. That there have been no sacks, but he has been under constant pressure. He took that big hit from Antonio Morrison. Important now, though, to be sure with the ball, be confident in your throws, and really zero in on your target.
Bills gave up 14 sacks the first 3 weeks, tied for the most in the NFL, and down goes Allen. He hesitated, and the Packers took advantage. Matthews involved there, along with Perry. NFL Today update, JB and Nate Burleson.
Paulson's open, Nate.
That's right. He's going to squeeze tight right down the seam like a pair of your pants, JB. That right there is a 17-yard touchdown. It's knotted at 14.
Seems a little tight right now, let me tell you. Back to Iron Eagle.
All right, JB, 13-0 here. Green Bay leading Buffalo. And the Bills are moving in the wrong direction. 3rd and 15. The rookie Allen from the gun. Allen hit as he throws, and that ball never got to his intended target. Looking for Kelvin Benjamin.
Yeah, the Packers really starting to put pressure on Allen. Clay Matthews, look at the speed here by Allen as he closes, or by Matthews as he closes on Allen.
And that last play, Mike Daniels put the heat on Allen.
Allen landing heavily on that right arm and wrist.
Yeah, it's another punt for Bojorquez. His 4th. Tramon Williams standing at the Green Bay 47. That punt angled to the 42. Williams tripped up by the shoelaces. 48-yard punt. Just a yard on the return. Taiwan Jones on special teams, and Allen trying to shake it off that right wrist. Bills are down.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Corona Extra. Find your beach. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by the well-connected 2019 Lincoln MKC.
Back in Green Bay, let's get a report from Evan Washburn.
Well, guys, not a sign any Bills fan wants to see. Josh Allen was clearly in some discomfort in that right arm. It was affected on the sack, the second to last play of that previous possession. The athletic trainers manipulated the elbow and wrist. They are now leaving him alone, so he'll try and fight through this. We'll just keep an eye on it. But it is that right arm.
All right, Evan, thanks very much. Green Bay takes over after the punt. Jones remains in there. Jones. That second acceleration after the stoppage, 6-yard pickup. So exactly as Mike McCarthy described it, they'll try all 3. Whoever has the hot hand, they'll ride that for as long as it works. And right now it's Jones.
Started with Williams, who gives you a lot of energy and solid pass protection. Montgomery, the most versatile of the 3, but the most explosive and exciting is Aaron Jones, and he is the hot guy right now.
All-time leading rusher at Texas El Paso. 5th-round draft pick last year. Fake it. Rodgers intercepted. The streak is over. Jordan Poyer off the deflection, and the Bills needed that. Jimmy Graham, the intended receiver.
Tremendous play by middle linebacker Tremaine Edmonds. He tips the ball there. That sends it off target to Graham. If Graham doesn't tip this ball, it may fall incomplete. But because he got his left hand on it, he stopped the ball, and Poyer hanging in the air to make this pick. But there's the first tip, the second tip, and then the pick.
So 150 straight passes without a pick. And that streak comes to an end here with the Buffalo Bills coming up with the INT.
Yeah, the pride of Astoria, Oregon, Jordan Poyer with his first interception of the season.
Bills take over in Green Bay territory at the 49. Fake it. Allen steps up. Allen, deep ball, has got a big arm. And it's over the head of everybody, including his intended receiver, Andre Robert Foster.
Well, I asked him how far he could throw the ball yesterday. He said, 75, 80 yards. Well, here's proof right here. The problem is there anybody on the other end that can catch it?
Yeah.
And this one overshoots 3 guys by about 10 yards.
We asked him,
coverage by the Packers in the secondary.
did you play baseball in high school? He said, yeah, I was a pitcher. He said, well, how fast did you throw it? He said, clocked at 92.
In high school?
In high school.
What would he be throwing now?
102. Spin move by McCoy. Trying to loosen things up on that Green Bay front for 5 yards. Mike Daniels in on the hit.
That's exactly what the Bills need. They need McCoy and Ivory to get this game going on the ground for the Bills. Just down 13 with a lot of time. Great field position. Best field position that they've started to drive with all day.
Buffalo got outscored 75-9 in their first 6 quarters of the season against Baltimore and the Chargers. The next 6 quarters, they outscored their opponents 41-9. They trail 13-0 here at Green Bay. 3rd and 5. Allen fires it to the outside. Lunging attempt, it's broken up. He tried to hit Andre Holmes, the veteran.
This was maybe his best throw of the day. It was low and away from the defense. Away from Williams. Look at this effort by Andre Holmes. Clearly incomplete, but a fine throw by Josh Allen.
Holmes had a touchdown reception last week in that win against Minnesota. The offense remains on the field on 4th and 5. And the crowd amps it up. Timeout taken by Green Bay.
Boy, and again, the umpire standing over the ball while both teams Bills are ready to get the ball snapped. May have caught the Packers with the wrong personnel on the field.
So 4th down coming up here for Buffalo, and coming up the Verizon halftime report. JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, Coach Cowher, the latest NFL scores and highlights all coming up on the Verizon halftime report. Aaron Rodgers, rare interception, his first of the season, off the deflection. And now the Bills had some time to think about it, and the punter will come on. Josh Allen is 3 of 12 today.
That was a smart timeout called by the Packers. It gave the Bills a chance to re-examine their thought on 4th down.
5 possessions, 4 3-and-outs for Buffalo. Bojorquez will replace Colton Schmidt as the Bills punter. Trying to pin the Packers deep. Tramon Williams, fair catch called for at the 11th, 33-yard punt. Now the Packers get it back. Now for Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers has got the game face. Right now, they're pitching the shutout. Mike McCarthy, 13 years now as the head coach of the Green Bay Packers, won Super Bowl 45 following the 2010 season. This Packers squad trying to move to 2-1-1 on the year. Got a 13-0 lead on the Bills. First down. Rodgers on the money as he tosses to the outside, and Geronimo Allison, 7-yard pickup. Running back by committee, that's what we've seen from Green Bay with Williams, Montgomery, and Jones today.
Jones has 39 yards on the ground, Montgomery 13, and Jamal Williams 10. But backed up like this, they want the more experienced back in Williams to be on the field.
Brings a little power, sledgehammer mentality. And forward progress will whistle him down just across the 20-yard line, but did not appear to be enough for a first down. Just short. Poyer and Edmonds collaborate.
Well, the Packers have been excellent on converting third downs. 4 out of 5. This one is imperative for the Bills because the Packers are backed up at their 20-yard line to get a stop here and give Josh Allen and the Bills offense better field position to start their next drive.
Groin injury for Micah Hyde. Raphael Bush has replaced him at that safety spot. This is a 3rd and 1 for Green Bay. Single setback Williams. Give it to him. And Williams is trying to push him to the line. And he got there. The second effort. Shaq Lawson, first man to greet him, but could not keep him behind the marker.
Great job by the offensive line of the Packers, because Lawson had him for a loss. Watch number 90. Shaq Lawson is going to get inside here, make the hit 2 yards beyond, and then Bakhtiari does a nice job along with the center, Lindsley, to get that first down.
They're averaging just 89 yards on the ground through the first 3 weeks. They've got 79 already here with 5:25 to play first half. And it's Williams. Jamal Williams through that hole and picks up 6. Clock is moving. We approach 5 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Nate Orchard with a tackle for Buffalo.
This is where the Packers can be so dangerous. If they start to run the ball effectively, Rodgers is so good at the play action game and then buying time and then taking shots down the field.
On 2nd and 4 for Green Bay. Play action. Rodgers underneath. Incomplete. Lance Kendricks, who had a big drop in the third quarter last week, couldn't haul it in.
Yeah, another off-target pass by Rodgers. He's missed a couple of wide-open receivers today, and that may be a byproduct of not practicing as much as he would be able to because of that left knee.
Rodgers going against one of his former college teammates, Lorenzo Alexander. The Cal Bears, but Alexander has not made any real impact getting close to the quarterback so far. Basically, the Bills are playing a 4-2-5 throughout. Rodgers, Davante Adams, big play. Scoots out of bounds. Rodgers, always calm and under control, converts on a third down to the tune of 25 yards.
Now he's so elusive coming off the little bunch route here to get to the middle of the field. Good job by Graham clearing it out, and then Tre'Davious White just left in the dust here by Adams.
Adams has become one of the more legitimate #1 wide receivers in the NFL. A rising star in his 5th year in the league. Went to the Pro Bowl last year. Jamal Williams, another carry inside the 45. Picks up 4 and chewing up more clock. It is Taron Johnson who is not getting up.
They can't afford another injury to the secondary. He's in real pain with holding that right arm and shoulder. Already without Philip Gaines, Micah Hyde injured earlier.
We'll come back in 30 seconds after this from Progressive Insurance. They are helping Taron Johnson to his feet. Let's take a look what happened to the young corner. Leslie Frazier looking on, the second-year defensive coordinator.
You know, Jimmy Graham is going to push Johnson into the running back Williams, and that right shoulder took the brunt of all that power.
So athletic medical staff is having a long discussion with Johnson. Lafayette Pitts.
You can see he already has some type of brace on that right shoulder. A black band around his right bicep.
Pitts replaces him. Picked up off waivers last year, formerly with Miami and Jacksonville. 2nd and 6. Rodgers under pressure. He's dumped. Siran Neal, the rookie out of Jacksonville State, Gets to the legend, Aaron Rodgers.
It's rare for Rodgers not to see this blitz, but it came from a long way away. Neal lined up in the safety spot, came totally free. Rodgers protecting the ball and takes a big sack of 10 yards.
First sack allowed today. They gave up 12 through the first 3 games. And now a 3rd and 16 all the way back at the Green Bay 46 with 3 minutes to go in the first half. Allison the motion man. Rodgers from the gun. Toss underneath. Adams the catch and curl. Bottled up at the 49 by Jerry Hughes.
That's kind of a concession call for Mike McCarthy. Wants his defense on the field to pin the Bills deep in their own end here at the end of the first half. But up to that point, the Packers were 6 out of 7 converting 3rd downs. That was their first time they've had a 3rd down of that distance.
And Dan, Buffalo uses a timeout, trying to leave as much time as possible for the offense to operate here. 2 timeouts remaining, 2:49 on the clock.
Yeah, the problem for the Bills is they haven't been able to get the ball to Kelvin Benjamin or Zay Jones or Ray McCloud. Andre Holmes has 1 target so far. 3 out of 12 for Allen. 1 to the tight end Clay and 2 to the running back McCoy.
So it'll be J.K. Scott. Booming leg strength. Ray McCloud will get a chance to touch the football here as the return man at the 10-yard line for Buffalo. Charles Clay has 1 catch. LaShawn McCoy has 2 catches. And that's it. Allen has 3 completions on the day. So all those wide receivers that you mentioned have been shut out. Jones, Benjamin, Holmes. Punt from Scott. Lands in the end zone. It's coming out to the 20-yard line. A 51-yard punt. A net of 31. Saturday, it's the best game from the best conference, featuring 5th-ranked LSU taking on Florida, and it promises to be a good one. The last 4 meetings decided by a touchdown or less. The drive to Atlanta and college football today bring you all you need to know, beginning at 2:30 Eastern on CBS. So Buffalo has 2 minutes, 41 seconds left, 2 timeouts. They have 37 yards of offense here in the first half. Allen in the pocket. And he throws it away.
It just doesn't seem like he's going through his progressions. He looks for one receiver and then feels some phantom pressure, runs out of the pocket, and then is forced to throw the ball away.
Now, this has been a recurring theme for Buffalo. Punt, 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 punt. And Allen is now 3 of 13. 6 straight incompletions for the rookie out of Wyoming. To the ground, and there's nothing there for Chris Ivory. Blake Martinez with the Dikembe Mutombo finger wave. And a timeout called by Green Bay. So the Packers are out of timeouts and hoping to get the football back. Well, it's been a roller coaster ride for Buffalo. That week 1 loss, 47-3, the worst season opening loss in franchise history. Then this was just sublime. Vontae Davis retiring at halftime against the Chargers. Sean McDermott took over the play calling duties from Leslie Frazier. And then things changed last week as the Bills pulled off the shocking upset on the road in Minnesota, 27-6. But just no offense to speak of here in the first half at Lambeau. Third and 12. Allen will run. Allen's a big body, but not big enough to get to the marker. He's not going down either. Blake Martinez there defensively came away with a football. The play had already been whistled dead, and a push there as Allen just got shoved by Alexander. And a flag down.
Yeah, real rookie mistake by Jair Alexander as he took a shot at the young quarterback.
So Martinez came away with the football. The play had already been whistled dead. And then there was some back and forth going on in that pile between the Packers and the Bills. Green Bay would have had the ball. The drive is over.
You see the reaction of the Bills offensive line. The Bills will get this ball after the personal foul and sportsmanlike
After
conduct
the play was
penalty.
over, unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense number 50 removed his helmet. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So they get Martinez for taking off the helmet.
Yeah, but they threw the flag after they saw the punch.
So Martinez,
Why would you take off your helmet to yell at somebody?
well, you know that's automatic. You can't take off your helmet.
That's right. But watch the punch here.
Well, Dawkins took a little swing. That's what precipitated the reaction from Martinez, and that was not seen by the officials.
Well, that's their best play of the day for the Bills.
Trying to snap it quickly at the 41-yard line.
This is a 2-minute warning.
So Buffalo actually catches a break. Deion Dawkins took a swing at Martinez, and then Allen and Alexander got into it. And Allen selling it a little bit.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Lowe's and by Verizon. The best unlimited is on Verizon, America's most awarded network.
Buffalo Bills maintain the football after the penalty. Allen is 3 of 13. Rodgers is 10 of 15. A touchdown and a pick. Allen steps up, fires. Nobody home. He bounced it in the direction of Robert Foster. And it's 2nd and 10. Coming up, Verizon halftime report. JB and the gang back in New York. Scores and highlights all coming up on the Verizon halftime report.
7 straight incompletions now for Allen. That one, he had Foster on a good sharp out route. It came up a little bit short because of the pressure right in his face.
Allen grew up a Brett Favre fan. And then when Favre retired, set his sights more on Brady and Rodgers. First time at Lambeau, knocked away. Jackson against Kelvin Benjamin. And right now, this has not been Favre-like for young Josh Allen.
Well, this is great play right there by Josh Jackson. No contact on Benjamin, just good read of the route, number one, recognition of where the ball is, and then the swat to knock it down.
Again, wide receivers do not have a catch so far for the Bills. It's a dime package for Green Bay on a 3rd and 10 with 1:51 to go, second quarter. Play clock down to 1. Allen sets, has the time. Allen looks downfield, connects. Kelvin Benjamin.
Now that throw was Favre-like. On a line for about 40 yards. Great protection this time for Allen. Looks right, comes back left, and then lets it rip.
And the Bills moving quickly here. Allen again has all day. Throws it over the head of LaShawn McCoy, incomplete. Pressure from Nick Perry. 1:21 to go, first half.
Well, Benjamin almost loses his ball as Alexander gets his left hand on it. That would have been a disaster as the Bills have their best play of the first half.
Kelvin Benjamin will be a free agent after the season.
You know, I'd like to see Allen step up into the pocket instead of trying to escape to the right side every time. He's running away from his protection.
From the gun. Allen tosses it underneath to Andre Holmes, who is spun down after a 5-yard gain through the air. Clock is moving down to 1:10 left. Clinton Dix there defensively for Green Bay. We will hit 1 minute to play here in the first half. 3rd and 5 for Buffalo. Bills are threatening.
And the Bills call timeout from the sidelines. No Kelvin Benjamin in the game at this point. You talk about a red zone threat at 6'5". Benjamin, 19 touchdown receptions in his career.
So Benjamin with the helmet on, but remained on the Buffalo sideline. Big target at 6'5". So you're Brian Dable, and you're thinking about your options during this timeout, trailing 13-0, calling the plays for Buffalo.
Yeah, you look at the personnel that's on the field right now. No tight end, so you eliminate Charles Clay, who's also an excellent red zone target. Actually, Clay is in the game, and that's a good thing for the Bills. And Benjamin on the weak side.
Allen dealing with the crowd noise on a 3rd and 5, just under a minute to go, first half. They bring everybody. Allen trying to get out of trouble. Allen chucks it downfield. Intercepted. Allen has it picked off. Jair Alexander is brought down, and the Bills come up empty. He just cost his team 3 points.
Well, it was a blitz right up the middle because they know he's not stepping up. It's not picked up. Good pressure by Gilbert, and then Martinez, and then just a real rookie mistake, throwing late over the middle, not getting enough on the ball. Alexander steps in for his first career interception, and the young man, he'll learn, but he knows that was a huge mistake here at the end of the first half.
And the Packers get it back with 43 seconds to go.
I'm sure he was thinking that he could get it maybe out of the back of the end zone, but the pressure by Martinez forced him to throw off his back leg, fading away, and that's exactly what the ball did. It faded away into the arms of Alexander.
First round pick, 18th overall out of Louisville with his first pick. Rodgers underneath to Montgomery. Montgomery loops to the outside and ducks out of bounds. Stops the clock with 36 seconds left.
And all you have to do is think about the Hail Mary, and you think about Aaron Rodgers and the Packers and how many times they have been able to convert at the end of a half or at the end of a ball game. No timeouts left, but for Rodgers, that's not going to be a problem.
Looking at 24 yards to get into the area for Mason Crosby. 36 seconds left. Rodgers. Awareness. Sets it up down the sideline for Geronimo Allison.
You see the difference there. Rodgers trying to explore a dead spot in the pocket, found one, and then escaped up inside to the outside where he found his receiver. And again, the Bills allow Allison to get out of bounds, but McDermott saying that he was going out of bounds backwards. The clock should still keep running.
Sean animated on the sideline. It happened right in front of him.
He was right, though. Allison was not headed down the field. He was headed backwards.
They gave it to him. Stopped the clock with 25 seconds left. Rodgers. Downfield flick. Incomplete. On the hands of Allison.
Tremendous effort by Allison to keep his feet in bounds. Watch the footwork here. If he makes the catch, it's going to be a good one. But just the pressure there coming from Lafayette Pitts. You can never go to sleep on Aaron Rodgers.
18 seconds left in this second quarter.
Crosby's career long is 58 so far this year. His longest has only been 48.
Rodgers, quick hitter. Timing was off. Valdez-Scantling in the area. Rookie out of South Florida. So 16 seconds to go. 3rd and 10 now for Green Bay. Crosby, the 12-year veteran.
I'm kind of rooting for a Hail Mary from Rodgers.
Oh, you like those, huh?
I love them. And I love the way he lofts it so high with that strong right arm. It allows his receivers to get down and get settled under the long pass.
He moves Montgomery to the other side. And now Rodgers looking, running. Down the sideline, Rodgers got a first down with 7 seconds left. He did his job for the Packers. And now Mason Crosby is getting that right leg ready.
Yeah, he's run the ball 4 times today on that bad left knee. He's picked up 29 yards. And that one key to perhaps a 3-pointer.
Well, they have 7 seconds left. No timeouts. Right now, they'd be staring at a 52-yarder.
Yeah, I think he wants to throw a quick out, perhaps down here. He tried to run that pick route 2 plays ago.
And final timeout.
Between Valdez-Scantling and Geronimo Allison.
The play clock was winding down. Green Bay was in a position where they would have to snap it quickly, and it was Buffalo that used its final timeout to make sure everybody was on the same page defensively. So 7 seconds left. Packers leading at 13-0 over Buffalo. And one quick play here for Green Bay before they march Mason Crosby onto the field to try a field goal. Bills were in field goal range. Allen with a turnover in the end zone.
Now, obviously, the receiver has to get out of bounds, or maybe they're going to go for the Hail Mary here. But that might eat up the last 7 seconds.
Rodgers, sideline throw, incomplete. And 3 seconds left. So, one shot at it. And now Crosby will come out for about a 52-yarder.
And whatever little wind there is, it will be at Crosby's back. He missed an extra point in the opposite direction where he just pushed it right and hit the upright.
Hunter Bradley, the rookie out of Mississippi State, will snap it. J.K. Scott, the punter, will hold it. Looking for 3 more. Crosby, 52 yards away. He drills it. The Packers take a 16-0 lead into the locker room against the Buffalo Bills. Green Bay will have the football when we come back. Verizon halftime report is coming up. End of the first half, 16-0 Packers. We'll have it for you after these first half highlights from Verizon. Rodgers intercepted. The streak is over. Jordan Poyer off the deflection. It's a run. Jones slices in for the touchdown. Getting ready for second half action here at Lambeau. The Packers on top of the Bills, 16-0. Let's take a look at the first half highlight presented by DirecTV. Josh Allen trying to toss it to the end zone. Jair Alexander for Green Bay is there.
Yeah, couldn't get enough on this ball to throw it out of the back of the end zone. A rookie mistake throwing late over the middle, and it cost the Bills not only their 3 points, but the Packers went down and got 3 points of their own.
Yeah, right now Buffalo is yet to get on the board. Allen has looked like the rookie that he is. Iron Eagle, Dan Fouts, the Hall of Famer. Evan Washburn down on the sidelines. All right, let's take a look at it from 2 perspectives. If you're Green Bay, Mike McCarthy, what'd you see in that first half?
I saw balance. I saw they didn't get off to the quick start that they wanted. It took them their second possession to get into the end zone. But defensively for the Bills, they have got to find a way to get some pressure on Aaron Rodgers, or he'll pick them apart. And watch for the Packers to do more on the ground here in the second half, especially with Aaron Jones.
And meanwhile, for Buffalo, Sean McDermott, you know you've got a young player at quarterback. What has Green Bay done to get inside his head.
Well, a couple of things. They forced him out of the pocket too many times by pass rush right up the middle. That old A-gap, double A-gap blitz you've heard about for many years. Been very effective for the Packers.
All right, let's check in with Evan Washburn.
Well, and as you guys documented, Josh Allen looked very much like a rookie in that first half. Sean McDermott's message to him, take what the defense gives you. You do not have to get it all back in one play. You saw that with the interception. Defensively, he wants to see his guys try and stop the run. And as you mentioned, Dan, Mike McCarthy loved what he saw from the running game. The reason they could commit to it, short yardage situations and a lot of third downs. And he wants more pace here, actually, in the second half, despite this lead, guys.
And Evan, they open up with the football in this third quarter. They have 252 total yards. And they held Buffalo to 82 in the first half. They've been mixing and matching at the running back position. We've seen Williams, we've seen Montgomery, we've seen Jones. And this time it is Jones redirecting. Aaron Jones, first down run, first play from scrimmage in the third quarter. Jordan Poyer and swish for Jones. 60-0 lead for Green Bay. Buffalo has had just 8 plays in Packers territory. Each team turned it over once. 50 rushing yards now for Jones, including that touchdown, also with a catch covering 17 yards. Allison, the grab down to the 44-yard line for 8.
But watch how on this first play of the second half, Jones is going to get lost. He only goes at about 5'9", but the Bills can't see him. He cuts back over the middle and picks up a very key first play of a new drive of the second half.
He's also a good receiver. He was a high school wide receiver in El Paso, Texas. Allison now with 4 catches, 36 yards. No Randall Cobb today. Allison, the sideline run. Geronimo.
Yeah, great move by Allison as he gets away from Ryan Lewis. Look at how quickly Rodgers gets rid of that ball. It's something that the Bills and Josh Allen should be studying. Too many times Allen's had to hold the ball, but that quick release, good for 17 yards.
Practice squad success story. He was undrafted out of Illinois in 2016, and Aaron Rodgers, when we sat down with him, said, I can't believe nobody drafted this kid. He's got all of the tools. First down for Green Bay, moving the football here in the third, inside the Buffalo 40. Rodgers off the hands of Allison. Incomplete. Ryan Lewis in coverage for Buffalo.
But the timing is perfect, though. There's nothing Lewis could do with this ball. Watch Rodgers throw it before Allison is even has his head turned around, and maybe just a little bit too quick for Allison, but well placed away from the defender.
2nd and 10. Rodgers now 14 of 23, 183 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Rodgers lets it fly on a slant to Davante Adams. Covered up by White, short of the first down.
That's 5 catches on the afternoon for Adams. That one was really a nice adjustment to a ball thrown slightly behind him. But again, the time that Rodgers is using to get rid of the ball, well under 2 seconds on almost every pass so far in the second half. That's how you keep healthy.
So it brings up 3rd and 1 for Green Bay. Rodgers pump. Rodgers tosses over the middle for the first down. Adams again. Davante Adams signed to a 4-year, $58 million deal out of Fresno State. Covers 10 yards for Green Bay.
Watch how Rodgers uses his vision. Doesn't like this screen pass coming out here to Jones because of the linebacker jumps it. Goes to his outlet receiver. Takes a lick after the pass is gone. But that's what you get 14 years into the league and knowing you're offensive game plan down to a T. Perfect job by Rodgers.
Eddie Yarbrough, the injured Bill. Hard nose, second year out of Wyoming. So the Bills will change personnel here, and Green Bay will have a new set of downs to work with at the 20. Packers came in 18th in the league in total offense, 353 yards per game. They've already cracked 300. They're at 307 with 12 minutes and change left in the third. Nate Orchard steps in for Yarbrough. First down from the Buffalo 20. Running play, Jones. Picks up a few. Going right up the gut. Edmonds and Orchard combined to bring him down.
Here's that pace that Mike McCarthy told Evan Washburn about, right to the line of scrimmage. No huddle.
Second and long for Green Bay. Graham sets up on the outside in a matchup with Lewis. They look to him, and he lost the football. It's ruled incomplete. Ryan Lewis is 6 foot. Graham is 6'7".
He just powers through Lewis. Ball right on target. This is just a flat drop here. And Lewis may have gotten his right arm around the big body to knock it out. You could see his hand just poking the ball away at the last instant.
So now a 3rd and 8 for Green Bay.
They've been outstanding on third downs, 8 out of 10 in the first half.
So it's Adams by himself on the outside, matched up with White. Play clock down to 1. Rodgers hit as he throws. Tremaine Edmonds had a beat on Rodgers. Fans reacting under the impression that this was roughing the passer. Was it?
Yes, it was. I mean, if that's the law, you can't bring your body down on top of the quarterback. Rodgers, who turned his back to the tackle. Clay Matthews would agree with me, wouldn't he?
I think he would.
I know these 81,000 fans did.
Clay has no official officiating role, as you know. It's just his opinion.
Really?
Mason Crosby with the short field goal to extend the Green Bay lead, 19-0. Packers were looking for 6. Edmonds said, not this time. No flag. Josh Allen went 5 of 19 in the first half. That's 14 incompletions, the most for a Buffalo QB in a first half since Doug Flutie back in 1998. Allen's going to get a crack at this Green Bay defense after the kickoff from Crosby. Taiwan Jones is the deep man. Over the head of Jones, coming out to the 25-yard line.
Okay, the letter of the law says that the defender, when he tackles the quarterback or hits the quarterback, cannot land on him with his body weight. Well, that is the body weight of Tremaine Edwards on the back of Aaron Rodgers. You just wonder if Rodgers had gone down without twisting like that, if the call hit. He's even looking for the flag. It's him looking around there, but not called on the rookie Edmonds.
And there's that moment where Edmonds is looking around, Rodgers is looking around. I think everybody is curious where the line is.
Yeah, and these knowledgeable fans, they saw it as well.
McCoy shot out of a cannon and picks up 11. All right, last couple of weeks.
Now this is against Kirk Cousins. This one is really questionable.
Highly.
But this one against Alex Smith last week is not. Because watch the body weight of Matthews right down on Alex Smith. And even though he's protesting, that was the proper call.
So far, here in week 4, there has not been a roughing the passer call around the NFL. Flag down after the run of 11 yards by McCoy.
Ball start.
Kari Lee.
Offense number 88. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So even after something positive, a negative pops up for Buffalo.
Well, the positive is huge, though. That was a good first down run by McCoy, and that's how the Bills are going to get back into this game, is on the ground until Josh Allen can settle down, get better pass protection off, maybe play action passing.
So a 1st and 15 here for Buffalo. McCoy remains in there. Allen on a quick toss. Took a while for it to get to Holmes. Our Gene Steratore is back in New York, our NFL rules analyst. Gene, you saw the play where Rodgers got hit by the rookie Edmonds. What did you see? Letter of the law, was that roughing the passer in your estimation?
Looks like more than 50% of his body weight. It does look like the defender, right before they land, removes his hands from Aaron Rodgers' body to try to brace himself. And my hope is that it also is in the judgment of the referee that he did not think that rose to the level of what he thought would be roughing the passer.
Well, if we're talking about percentages now, that's ridiculous.
Little flip to the outside, caught by Lee. But I think this is where we're at. First of all, thanks very much, Gene. Where everybody is trying to determine it, and a lot of it might be based on the officiating crew that you get. Was that something that you worried about as a player? Did you think about that based on the referee that was assigned?
Well, not for roughing the passer, because it was a free game back all that time ago. But interesting, as you said, no roughing the passers penalties so far today in the NFL. That is very interesting.
3rd and 7 now. Allen and the Bills are trying to get something going here. They have just cracked 100 total yards for the game. On target to Charles Clay. Breaks away from one tackler, and Clay is brought down inside the Green Bay 45 for 17.
What a difference pass protection makes for Josh Allen. He can stand back there, find his big tight end over the middle. This is where Clay is so dangerous. Still a good runner after the catch. Nobody anywhere near Josh Allen on that play.
Clay dealing with some hip issues, shoulder trouble. He just said they're bumps and bruises, all part of the NFL. First down for Buffalo, 8:10 to go in the 3rd. Fake it. Allen, flag down, dumps it off to McCoy. McCoy veers towards the sideline, but the penalty marker thrown at the 49, and this one's coming back.
Offense number 88. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
And a second penalty on this drive against Corey Lee.
Here's Corey Lee. This is his second penalty on this possession. First he was offsides, and now he's going to reach out and just tackle Clay Matthews. And all these fans saw it. It was in the wide open spaces there on the outside of the formation.
So Buffalo back in its own territory now. A 1st and 20 at the 46.
One step forward, 2 steps back, it seems.
They spread it. 5 receiver set. Allen trying to run, and he gets pummeled. No gain on the play. Lowry, Martinez, Fackrell. Take your pick of the Green Bay defenders.
A quarterback draw all the way. Took 1 step back, and then, as you said, this is a pummeling. Shot in the back, and then down to the ground.
When we talked to Clay Matthews about Allen, he said, look, I watched the tape. It was like Allen was playing ball like he was back in high school. He was stiff-arming guys, provided a spark, said he's a big physical kid. But he is a kid. Allen steps up. Allen is dropped by Fackrell. 2-yard pickup by Josh Allen.
That's a heck of a play by Fackrell, because Allen had a head of steam heading up the field. Really good spin out move there by Fackrell, then diving at the legs of Allen.
That might have been an opportunity to jump for Josh Allen.
Yeah, I don't think he saw him coming from the side like that.
Allen and the Bills facing a 3rd and 18. Packers with a nickel look. Allen downfield. Picked off. Intercepted by Clinton-Dix. A collision. He was trying to squeeze it in. Kelvin Benjamin.
Little pump fake there, and then a big collision.
And Benjamin is down.
Well, he never looked off Clinton-Dix. Dix saw this all the way, made the pick and the punishment.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Honda. Awarded Best SUV Brand by US News. Sonic. This is how you Sonic. And by NFL Sunday Ticket, only on DirecTV.
Kelvin Benjamin got up on his feet, walked over to the Buffalo sideline, now is in the pop-up tent. He took a shot on that interception by Clinton-Dix. And the Bills down 19-0 to the Packers with 6:05 to play here in the third quarter.
Last two possessions for the Bills, both ending in interceptions.
So 2 turnovers on the day for Buffalo, 8 of 23 throwing the ball. Josh Allen, 83 yards in those 2 picks. Packers get it, 1st and 10 at their own 30. .309 yards of offense for Green Bay. Fake it on the boot. Pocket holds up. Rodgers on time to Allison. It's as if Aaron Rodgers is doing this all in slow motion as he connects with Allison downfield for 27.
Well, this is a deep crossing route too, so you got to get good pass protection. And then great anticipation by Rodgers to drop it into the middle of the zone of the Bills. And Allison with a play that covers 27 yards.
Rodgers hasn't lost a game at home since November the 6th, 2016 against Indianapolis. On a give for Williams. And Jamal Williams dances to the 36-yard line for 7.
Yeah, and just as the Packers started the game with Williams as the primary ball carrier, he starts the second half and gets a positive gain here on first down.
The Packers had forced just 3 turnovers through the first 3 games. Only 5 teams had forced fewer entering action today, but they forced a couple here against Buffalo, trying to take advantage of it with a 2nd and 3 in Bills territory. Rodgers pats the ball, throws into a crowd. And White had a chance at it. Jimmy Graham, the intended target for Green Bay.
A great job by White because he was guarding. Looked like it was Allison. Came off when he saw Graham crossing in front of him, and that would have been a huge play and a momentum builder, something positive that could have happened for the Bills. That is a colorful play sheet.
It is. A lot of highlighters. Mike McCarthy comes from that school where you script the first 15, but obviously you have to make adjustments based on the circumstances. Rodgers, deep drop. Rodgers, deep shot. End zone. Broken up. Allison, the intended receiver. And Ryan Lewis in his first year from Pitt. They're testing him, and he passes.
Yeah, it's a go route, and I don't think that Allison was thinking that he was the primary. Lewis gets away with a couple of shoves there, and then the ball kind of carries both men to the out of bounds. But Rodgers, with just a flick of the wrist, threw that about 55 yards.
So, Dan, it's a 4th and 3. They could have either attempted a 54-yard field goal or go for it on 4th down. They'll do the latter.
Well, they're 0 for 3 this year, converting 4th downs.
Williams in the backfield. Rodgers on 4th and 3. Nearly picked off, and it would have gone all the way for Lewis. So Green Bay hands it over to Buffalo on downs, but this could have been a lot worse.
Right through his arms. Heartbreak.
Wasted chance for Buffalo. They trail 19-0. Aaron Rodgers has been intercepted once today. It was nearly a second one for Rodgers that probably would have gone the distance. There was nobody along that sideline. But the Bills take over. Packers unable to convert on 4th down. Running play, looking for an opening. McCoy. Yeah, not much there. Picks up 2. The almost pick 6 for Buffalo.
Yeah, he hasn't done it very often. And another example of why some guys play defensive back and not wide receiver.
It's only happened twice to Aaron Rodgers. 2 pick 6s in his entire career. McCoy works the perimeter, and he is out of bounds, short of a first down. So Staubach had 3, Jaworski 4, Theismann 4, Steve Young 4, all of these with 100 or more career starts. Do you want to expand the list and we'll get to Fouts?
I don't think we have enough time.
No?
Heck, I threw 2, 3, 4 in a game for touchdowns the other way. Is that a record?
That might be a record the other way. So we want to give credit where credit's due. 3rd and 4 for Buffalo. 3:38 to go in the 3rd. Allen runs into a sack. The internal clock was ticking, and Gilbert busting through for Green Bay.
Yeah, it was long yardage situation. So he's got to kind of hang on to this ball probably longer than he wants to. But look at the coverage in the secondary. Nobody open. And then trying to get out of the pocket. He runs right into Gilbert.
Reggie Gilbert, practice squad guy who is now seeing some legitimate playing time out of Arizona. Bojorquez to Tramon Williams. This is returnable from the 16. Yeah, Williams took a shot short of the 20-yard line. Lorenzo Alexander still producing on special teams, but a flag thrown, 49-yard punt, a 4-yard return. .240 to go in the 3rd. Bill Vinovich.
Offside. Receiving team number 27. Penalties declined. Green Bay ball. First down. Timeout.
So penalty is not accepted on Josh Jones. Packers have the football. They've got a 19-0 advantage.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon. The best unlimited is on Verizon, America's most awarded network. And by McDonald's.
Yeah, back here in Green Bay, Bay Beach Amusement Park, which opened back in 1892. Situated at the mouth of the Fox River. That's good old-fashioned fun. Josh Allen not having a whole lot of fun. 9 of 24, 87 yards, 2 picks. Rodgers, on the other hand, down the field. And almost intercepted by White, who's got his hands on it compared to Davante Adams, who was too far. Let's check in with Evan Washburn.
Well, guys, about the 6-minute mark of this quarter, we saw a nasty collision between Clinton Dix and Kelvin Benjamin. And Benjamin came off to the side, was in the injury tent with the unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant. He is still in the concussion protocol now in the locker room, guys.
Yep, getting a look at Benjamin Evan taking his walk to the tunnel. And it's been a rough opening 4 weeks for Benjamin, formerly with the Carolina Panthers and brought over to Buffalo to be a big play guy. 2nd and 10. Montgomery got tripped. Never quite got his footing. It'll be 3rd and long for the Packers. They'll mark it down as a loss of 1, 3rd and 11.
Matt Milano, who was the Defensive Player of the Week last week in that win over the Vikings, Athletic linebacker, former defensive back. That's the way the league is going now with their linebackers. They've got to be fast to be able to cover all this space with these spread offenses.
He had 8 tackles, he had a sack, an interception, a fumble recovery, did it all. Now in his second year from Boston College. 3rd and 11 for the Packers. Under 2 minutes to go in the third. Rodgers steps up, clean pocket, on the move, bobbled, and dropped. Allison. They got popped up in the air, which is a defensive back's dream when it's just sitting there. And now Allison's slow to get up. He took a pop from Taron Johnson.
Well, he took his eyes off the ball. He was so concerned with maybe running with the ball after the catch. Watch his head turn around there. Ball bounces off his shoulder, and then he takes a lick. Trying to find out where the defensive back was, Johnson. Well, Johnson found him.
They get Allison sitting up. As mentioned, Randall Cobb not available, a hamstring injury he suffered in practice this week. And they got a bunch of young receivers down on the depth chart. Valdez Scantling out of South Florida. Javon Moore from Missouri.
Keep going.
Equanimous St. Brown from
Excuse
Notre
me?
Dame.
Excuse me?
No, I nailed it.
You did.
It's Equanimous.
He's EQ to me and to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. When we asked him about him, I said, what do you think of St. Brown? He said, oh, EQ? I said, you don't want to say Equanimous?
You paused a long time. You were really studying that, but good job, pal.
No, it's called a dramatic pause. It's a buildup. It's a tease.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
4th down for Green Bay. And J.K. Scott will punt it. Ray McLeod III moving forward. Takes it on a bounce. And driven down at the 38-yard line. Well, on Monday, members of the Packers teamed up with the Vince Lombardi Cancer Foundation by visiting the Children's Hospital of Wisconsin. As part of the Packers versus Cancer Initiative, players visited patients of all ages, took photos, and signed autographs. This franchise means so much in this community and the surrounding areas. National fan base, and people flock from all over America to come to Lambeau Field.
They come to Lambeau Field even when there's not a game. They give tours every day.
Yeah.
And they have the fans come out of the tunnel, that the players come out with the sound of the crowd and everything.
It's cool.
It really is.
A minute 32 to go in the third. Nice fake, and it's Allen knifing to the outside. 6-yard pickup. NFL Today update, JB and Nate.
2 big passes, and Kenny Galladay sets this up, Nate.
That's right. Don't you hate when they say you're going to have to check that back?
No, I'll carry on.
Carry on Johnson with the rushing TD. That's the Lions' first of the season. The Lions cut the lead. They are down by 3.
Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts, and Evan Washburn.
All right, guys. Charles Clay just limped off for Buffalo. And another weapon that Josh Allen doesn't have at his disposal. Ivory tossed down.
That was a great play by Kenny Clark from his tackle position. Their best defensive player, according to Mike Pettin, defensive coordinator. Real technician in the middle, and probably the best run defender. One of the best in the NFL, number 97.
And Mike Pettin in his first year coordinating the defense. Allison is being escorted off, so that big hit that he took doing some damage. Pettin, of course, the former head coach of the Cleveland Browns, was part of the Rex Ryan coaching tree in Buffalo and with the Jets in Baltimore. Allen brought down for a huge loss. Jermaine Whitehead. He got enough of Allen, who tried to remain up. And the Packers with a big defensive statement at the end of the third. We'll come back to Green Bay after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, the home of Super Bowl 53. Well, when we spoke to Josh Allen about the first few weeks of the NFL season, he said, look, I understand. I'm going to make mistakes. I'll learn from them. I'll grow from the experience. This has been a rough day at the office. 9 of 24, 87 yards, 2 interceptions under heavy pressure throughout the day. Bojorquez punting to Tramon Williams, who gets tossed down by the jersey. 38-yard punt. Well, here we are in the NFL where teams make decisions to go young at the QB spot and build. And you've got 7 QBs that are 23 or younger: Allen, Darnold, Goff, Mahomes, Mayfield, Rosen, Watson. Then there are the seasoned veterans like Brady and Breeze and Fitzpatrick, Flacco, Manning, Rivers, Rodgers, Roethlisberger, and Ryan.
Well, to get to that point where you're 33 and older playing, as a 23 and younger player, you have to go through these afternoons.
Sure.
We all did, and it's not fun. It's very painful, but you got to learn from it, and I'm sure Josh Allen will.
Rodgers throws too high off the boot to Davante Adams. Now, Rodgers didn't really go through the growing pains because he sat and watched Brett Favre from the sideline.
And that's the other side of the thing. I mean, look at Patrick Mahomes. He sat last year behind Alex Smith, learned the playbook, learned what Andy Reid wants from his quarterback, and was able to watch the veteran Smith perform. And look what he's doing now. So a lot of these quarterbacks are forced into the lineup too soon. But because of necessity, that's why they're drafted high, because the team had a poor record the previous year.
There's no one philosophy that's tried and true.
No.
Handoff to Jones, and spins his way for 4. It's often based on circumstance. I think Buffalo was trying to do it that way. That was the idea, to have Allen learn. But when Peterman throws as many picks as he did, and they made the decision to trade A.J. McCarron, this was really the only option to keep your football team engaged.
Yeah, and let's just step back and realize this is the only 4th game of the year, and only his 3rd real action. So going into Green Bay with poor field position to start this game, always seemed like pressure was on him throughout the entire ball game.
They'll be home for Tennessee next week. Rodgers on 3rd and 6, converts to Jimmy Graham. Out to midfield. It's a dime from Rodgers, brought down by Tremaine Edmonds. 13 yards on the pass play. Send it downstairs. Evan Washburn.
Guys, just to further this point, I had a conversation with Sean McDermott going back to training camp, and I asked him, are you a believer in that idea that you can ruin a quarterback by putting him in too soon? And he said yes. But to your point, Ian, the circumstances of early season struggles for Peterman and trading away A.J. McCarron put them in this position, and there's still that confidence despite what we've seen thus far in this game.
Yeah, and he's a confident young man. We sat down with him yesterday. He's got a presence about him. Swing it to the outside. Davante Adams is cut down there. It's a 4-yard pickup as White ranged over to make the play. In talking to Charles Clay, he said, hey, Allen, he'll talk some trash, and he's got that it factor that you look for in QBs, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be smooth sailing week in and week out.
Well, in facing a Mike Pettin defense, you're going to see a lot of different looks and a lot of different pressures, and he's seen them all. And you go back to that Jermaine Whitehead sack. I mean, that's his first career sack for Whitehead, totally unblocked, unexpected by Allen and the Bills in their pass protection.
2nd and 6 for Green Bay. Jones trying to cut to the outside, and it gets blown up by Jordan Poyer for no gain. Another NFL Today update. Back to New York. JB and
Well,
Nate.
the new NFL, as Boomer said.
That's right, and this is the talented Mr. Ridley. 5 of his last 8 catches were TDs. How about that? 5 TDs in 2 weeks. Score 33-28.
What do you think? Dan Fouts would have thrown for, like, 12 billion yards?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
No question. Back to Ian Eagle.
That was a B, right, JB? Billion. 12 billion yards.
If I had, I would have made $12 billion.
It's true.
$1 a yard.
If it was that easy.
I could still be doing it.
3rd and 6. Look out. Rodgers coughs it up. He didn't see it. And Rodgers got level. Taron Johnson's been throwing his body around.
Now they came off the slot and drills Rodgers right on the ball with his helmet. Good clean lick here, totally unexpected, unseen by Rodgers, and the Bills have the turnover they need to try to get some points on the board.
Sean McDermott trying to keep his team focused and trying to get on the board. Now this Buffalo Bills defense, there is a spark there. Edmonds, young player. Johnson, young player. You saw signs of it last week against Minnesota. Allen doesn't have a chance. He gets twisted around like a pretzel by Blake Martinez. Fourth sack.
Totally unblocked is Martinez. Finds a big hole right there. You can see a little confusion. John Miller looking around, trying to figure out whose man that is. Another 8-yard loss there for the Bills after the turnover, and they're going backwards.
2nd and 18 now for Buffalo. We approach 11 minutes to go in the fourth here at Lambeau. Allen steps up, spins, goes down. He's still throwing it downfield. He was down.
Now Kenny Clark goes around the corner.
And Fackrell got a piece.
The right knee is down. Interesting, though, when the right knee went down, he did not have the ball. He had no possession. He's knocked down actually by his own man, Deion Dawkins. Kind of tripped him.
It's a loss of 10. Five sacks now for the Green Bay D. This is 3rd and a mile for Buffalo. Allen can throw it a mile. Knocked away. Josh Jackson makes the play defensively. Zay Jones, who has not been involved in the passing game today, the intended receiver.
Well, after they get the big turnover at midfield, 2 sacks, 3 plays, and bring out the punter for another Buffalo punt.
Bajorquez kicking it. Williams at the 24 for Green Bay. Takes a Buffalo roll and settles in just inside the 20-yard line. That's where the Packers will get it back after the 47-yard kick. Green Bay up 19-0 at home.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Control GX, the first shampoo that gradually reduces gray. Domino's. Order online at Domino's.com. And by Ram Trucks.
Buffalo Bills trailing 19-0 here at Lambeau. Hasn't been a whole lot of glitter for the Bills on offense. Packers wearing their throwbacks, uniforms from the 30s and 40s. 357 yards of offense for Green Bay. Aaron Jones gets the call and runs into a crowd. Trent Murphy in on the hit.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers has thrown 36 passes this afternoon, and a lot of them have been of the quick variety. Well under 2 seconds to get rid of it, and with the receivers wide open because of the quick decision making and release of Aaron Rodgers.
So now you've seen Rodgers here in person. That left knee. Any issues from your vantage point?
None. Absolutely none.
Give it to Jones. Breaks a tackle, keeps driving, and slammed down just short of a first down White among those there for Buffalo. It's a 9-yard pickup.
But Rodgers has run the ball 4 times for 29 yards. LaShawn McCoy, 5 carries for 24 yards.
Well, the fact that he practiced on Thursday, and even Aaron said, yeah, people are trying to find hidden meaning in that. And for Rodgers, it really was all about trying to give the team a lift. And Mike McCarthy said that because he's super competitive, the level of practice went up a notch. Rodgers tosses a strike to Lance Kendricks to keep this drive alive. It had such a positive effect on the whole team, his presence being there, how the guys feed off of him, and now we've seen the carryover into the weekend here, week 4, as the Packers interaction at 1-1-1.
And did you see how fast he ran on that rollout and how accurate he was throwing on the run, running at full speed?
Jones had a block on that previous play and might have been shaken up, came to the sideline and replaced by Jamal Williams for the Packers. Williams tried to dance, and he is dropped for no gain. NFL Today update. JB, Nate Burleson.
51-yard pass play, Mariota to Corey Davis sets this up.
Yeah, and watch this sharp route up the seam, and I mean that literally. Tajay Sharp right at the seam for the touchdown. Mariota, 12 straight passes he's completed. Tennessee takes the lead 20-17.
And the razor sharp Nate back to Iron Eagle.
And the Eagles, defending Super Bowl champions, in some jeopardy with Tennessee rallying in that one. Titans try to get their third 3-1 start over the last 7 years. 7 minutes to go. Rodgers in the pocket, spins out of it. And Rodgers heaves it down the sideline, out of bounds. Davante Adams in the area. 3rd and 10 for Green Bay.
A big smile for Aaron Rodgers because of this little dance move here. Jerry Hughes thinks he's got him. Bakhtiari with a good job of hanging in there with his pass pro. Allows his quarterback to fire that one out of bounds and save the sack.
Geronimo Allison being evaluated for a concussion. 6 catches, 80 yards for Allison. Davante Adams, 7 catches, 72 yards. The running back Montgomery, 2 catches, 56 yards, including a 43-yarder. Play clock was winding down. Rodgers, catch is made. Adams is short. They'll give him 9 yards on the play. Edmonds and Johnson, that rookie combination again, making sure that Adams did not get to the line to gain. You know, we asked Micah Hyde about Tremaine Edmonds, and he said, oh, he's a future Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
we both looked at him like, seriously? After 3 weeks, he goes, oh, yeah, this guy will be in the Hall of Fame one day. Sideline to sideline skills, never makes the same mistake twice.
He's the signal caller, which is rare for a rookie, and he's 20 years old. Amazing.
J.K. Scott to punt it. McLeod settling in, fair catch called for, and he's got it at the 16, some contact. And that's where they'll place the football. 6:02 to go in the 4th here in Wisconsin. Coming up next, most of you will see Drew Brees coming off an exciting overtime winning touchdown, setting the NFL's career completion record, leading New Orleans into battle against the Giants. Others will see San Francisco take on the Los Angeles Chargers. The NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 53. Back here at Lambeau, Packers 19, Bills nothing, with just over 6 minutes to play here in the 4th quarter. And Josh Allen has gone 9 of 25 for 87 yards and 2 interceptions. Kelvin Benjamin is back in for Buffalo. Allen locks in on the other side and connects with Zay Jones, his first catch of the afternoon.
Now the Mike Peck defense has put constant pressure on the young quarterback today. 5 sacks out of 30 dropbacks for Josh Allen. He's now completing 10 out of 26. just under 100 yards at 94. And a couple of costly picks.
7 3 and outs for Buffalo this afternoon. Jones, first grab, covers 7 yards. They'll go underneath. Charles Clay back on the field and gets a first down catch across the 30 for 8. His first time at Lambeau. Clay now in his 8th year in the NFL. Allen slings it to Jones. With a flag thrown, he got dropped just across the 35-yard line by Josh Jackson and Oren Burks, a couple of rookies.
Now this penalty will stop the clock. Bill's complaining that there was holding on Zay Jones.
Three penalties against Buffalo, 2 against Green Bay.
Personal foul. Defense, number 37. Grabbing the helmet opening. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
And it is Josh Jackson.
That's a good call. You could see the hand of Jackson going inside the back of the helmet of Zay Jones. 15-yard penalty added on.
So they'll march it into Green Bay territory at the 49. First down for Buffalo. Allen guns it to Zay Jones. Jackson in coverage. Another first down for the Bills.
Now you can see when he has time to throw and he can step into his throw, he can be very accurate. Right now the Packers just electing to rush 4, drop 7, and see if they can take a lot of time off the clock.
Another short pass to Charles Clay. Oren Burks, the linebacker from Vanderbilt, limits Clay to a 5-yard gain.
And that's OB, Oren Burks, right?
Yeah. We talked to some of the Packers, and Clay Matthews asked him how Oren Burks is doing. He said, who, OB? He goes, I can't call him Oren. Not the most common NFL player name, but
I'd call him Senator.
OB works. Well, you're a guy that likes to give out nicknames.
That's right.
Yeah, you were a big nickname guy with the Chargers, weren't you?
Yeah, I think I gave you the bird, didn't I?
No, that wasn't
born
it.
with that, weren't you?
Yeah, that was on the birth certificate. 2nd and 5.
Blitz again.
Allen, stiff arm, tosses it at the feet of McCoy, and Jermaine Whitehead had a chance at another sack.
That was a similar type of blitz, too. Coming from his safety spot is number 35. We got Allen in the 3rd quarter, and here Allen just stiff arms him away. Whitehead goes 5'9", 5'11", 195 pounds, and a big left hand stuck right in his face.
Well, last week for Josh Allen, he had a lot of highlight reel material. This one will be a tougher tape session for him. Short of the first down on the run and lost the ball at the end of the play. Kenny Clark came away with it. And the officials are yet to signal. Now they do. Packers football. The cough up by Allen.
Really on the field is a fumble recovered by Green Bay.
Well, Allen got the hit, but
he looked down.
Yeah, Kenny Clark came in with a right hand here. Looks like Allen is down on the ground. The ball coming loose there, maybe? Nope. His knees were down when it came out.
Yeah, it looked like he still had his right arm controlling it when the right knee hit down. Then the ball came loose. The ruling on the field is a fumble. All turnovers are reviewed. Question, is it moving?
The previous play is under review.
Until the right knee came down.
Yep.
So we'll keep it right here. They'll take a look at it.
I'm not sure the officials were sold on the call to begin with. There was a long time it took them to finally signal that the Packers had recovered.
Well, Kenny Clark, who you mentioned, high praise from Mike Pettin. He has developed very quickly in his third year from UCLA. Inside, outside, versatility.
And so many times it just comes down to pad level. And Clark at 6'3", 315, lower base there, and allows him to stalemate the blocks at the offensive line. He showed good agility that time, chasing down the mobile Josh Allen.
Well, Gene Steratore, our rules analyst, joins us right now. You saw the replays like we did, Gene. What'd you come away with?
Point from what I'm seeing is what the ruling on the field was, which was fumble. There are some knees down. We lose the football in the angles that I've seen so far. So nothing at this point to tell me that I could conclusively overturn the ruling on the field as I'm looking right now.
Now that last one, though, showed he still had the ball in his right hand, and his knee was down. So maybe that's why this is taking so long, is to figure this one out. But he has possession there, and both knees are down, actually. Then the ball comes out.
Yeah, bang, bang call. Ruling on the field was a fumble. Green Bay would take over. Well, this has been a long session for Bill Vinovich. With 4:15 to play, fourth quarter. If Green Bay gets it, a 19-0 lead. If Buffalo holds on to it, it would be fourth down. 4th and 2.
A lot of conversation going on between New York and Bill Vinovich.
The Bills' offense has remained on the field.
And the Packer defense is still out there. So let's play ball, guys.
Bill's got a ruling now, just making sure that the clock is right. And here's the announcement.
After reviewing the play, the rule on the field stands.
Well, there you go.
However, the runner was down at the 22-yard line.
So Gene
Please reset the game clock
Steratore,
to 4 minutes and 22 seconds.
who's been doing this forever, knows what to look for. And officials may see it differently than laymen.
And I am a layman. But I saw 2 knees down in possession.
Sean McDermott looking for an explanation himself. Obviously, they show the replays over and over here on the big screen. Scoreboards have been redone. Sound system has been redone here at Lambeau.
And because Clark was contacted when he was getting up off the ground with possession, that's what the discussion was about, where to place the ball and how much time should be placed on the clock.
Seen a lot of smiles from Aaron Rodgers throughout the day. You know, considering what we all saw week 1 against Chicago, the fact that he's here, the fact that he's playing in week 4.
And I asked him, what is it? MCL?
Yeah, you did.
ACL, PCL?
You did go into 60 minutes mode.
And he just grinned and says, I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, you tried.
I don't think he has any CL problems right now.
So the Packers have it after the turnover. 4:22 to play. On the ground for Montgomery. Getting to the outside. Edmonds over there defensively for Buffalo. Stay tuned. NFL Today update delivered by Pizza Hut. Time permitting. JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, Coach Cowher. All the latest NFL scores and highlights week 4 in the National Football League. It's coming up. Timeout taken. Buffalo has 2 remaining. 4:15 on the clock. 19-0 lead for Green Bay.
This shutout is very important for the Packers. You can see how the offense is trying to do their part to make that happen, but rare to shut out a team in the National Football League these days, and that would really go a long way to getting the Packers and their ship righted.
Well, they had the comeback win over Chicago week 1. The week 2 game really stuck with them because they had it won against Minnesota, only to see the Vikings rally. Overtime, they had to settle for the tie, and then last week just didn't go their way. A soggy day in Washington. Ball pops free. Montgomery, and recovered by Kendricks, who was there for Green Bay.
It might be Ryan Lewis again here, number 38. And he helped strip that ball with the help of Raphael Bush, but heads up by Kendricks. Both defensive backs there popping that ball out.
Yeah, Lewis, a practice squatter with Arizona, New England, and Buffalo. Made his NFL debut last week. His dad, Will, played cornerback in the NFL and CFL. 3rd and 3 for Green Bay. Bills are down to 1 timeout remaining. Motion man, Valdez-Scantling. Rodgers steps up, throws, deep ball, sideline, caught! And it's the rookie, Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
This is just his 2nd catch. And it's a perfectly thrown ball. You see his eyes track that ball. Keeps his hands in perfect position. Cradles it to his body. Good for 38 yards.
Speedy St. Petersburg, Florida native, working against Ryan Lewis, and sets up the Packers inside the Buffalo 30. Rodgers now 298 yards through the air. On the ground, nothing there for Jones. NFL Today update, JB and Nate.
Nate, Dallas wins by a foot.
That's right, JB, and Brett Maher, 38 yards. And they get their 2nd win. The Cowboys, with 3 seconds left on the clock, they win 26-24.
Ian, Dan, and Evan.
So nail biter in Big D. Dallas gets it done. Green Bay in control here at home, 19-0 over Buffalo. The Bills have no timeouts remaining. The Packers will improve to 2-1-1, and they will be at Detroit next week. Then home for San Francisco. Bills have a couple of matchups with teams from the AFC South. Home for Tennessee, then in Houston. Week 6. Rodgers pointing at the
False
Bills.
start. Offense number 80.
He's not going to win that argument.
5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Jimmy Graham, the false start. 3:17 to go.
Isn't it about time the NFL looks at playing ties and getting rid of tie games and playing till somebody wins? Because I remember a coach used to say, you play, how's it go? You play to win the game?
Yeah, that's it.
I guess sometimes you play to just tie.
No, it's time. It needs to be addressed. It is completely unfulfilling.
It's never addressed.
Yeah.
You never hear about the owners meetings ever talking about eliminating tie games in the NFL in the regular season.
There's got to be a better way. On 2nd and 15, slam down Jamal Williams. Shaq Lawson in on it for Buffalo. The Bills have to feel good about what they've got defensively and a chance to really grow over the course of the season. And that's where Sean McDermott's background is. And working with Leslie Frazier. The offense, it's going to take some time. Rookie quarterback. Wouldn't say you've got big name weapons at the wide receiver position.
And their inability to establish anything on the ground really hurt the Bills today.
3rd and long. Rodgers looks. Rodgers not going to take any chances. And the clock is going to roll down to 2 minutes remaining. Kyle Williams and Matt Milano there to greet Rodgers. So 4th down for the Packers. After not having any answers last week against Washington, Green Bay has done enough today against Buffalo. They're 2 minutes away from getting a win. Week 4 as we continue from Lambeau after this on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by State Farm, here to help life go right. And by Bud Light, enjoyed by Giant Blue fictional knights everywhere.
Back here at Lambeau, 52-yard attempt for Mason Crosby. Made one from 52, another from 36. And this one is good. Crosby has enough. Packers add to their lead, 22-0 with just under 2 minutes to play. Let's go down to Evan Washburn. Evan?
Well, guys, as you know, it's impossible to come to Lambeau Field and not feel the tradition, the history about what makes this place special. And it's the fans that are really at the root of all this. This is Sally Ebenreiter. She's been a season ticket holder here with Green Bay Packers since 1957 when they opened Lambeau Field. Spoke to her family pre-game, and they were on the field doing the pictures, seeing the players. And again, guys, Dan, I know you've been around a long time in this league, and I knew as well, but for me, every time you walk into this place, you get a different feeling, and it's for stories like this.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Evan. And there are a bunch of them. It's not just Sally. You've got long-time season ticket holders, families, generation to generation.
And what they've seen.
Yeah.
From the Lombardi era, Holmgren era, and now McCarthy.
And now we've seen the throwbacks in person, Dan. So you can check that off your bucket list item.
And I think that's a good idea. Throw them back.
Coming up, bonus action here on CBS. Cincinnati and Atlanta in a wild one. 36-31, the Falcons on top of the Bengals with 2:22 to play. Final minute 55 here in Green Bay. Josh Allen, 14 of 31, 127 yards, 2 interceptions. Allen throws to Zay Jones. Bills will get a chance to pad the numbers here a bit for the final minute and change.
And getting back to Evan's point about how special this place is, first time I played here was 1974 or 75, and it was Alumni Day.
Ooh.
And they introduced all the alums, among them Bart Starr and Willie Davis and Ray Nitschke, and on and on and on. And then they had them sit in folding chairs on the sideline during the game. I couldn't concentrate. All my idols, all the guys I'd watched growing up, all those great Packer teams when they won 5 straight NFL titles.
Did Nitschke want to hit you?
Prior to pass, personal foul, face mask, defense number 37, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It's Josh Jackson called on the face mask. Starr, Nitschke, some of the great names throughout professional football history.
25 Hall of Famers for the Green Bay Packer organization. 100 years of NFL football. Just awesome to come here.
Well, Buffalo now in Green Bay territory. Allen steps up, and Fackrell gets to him first. The sacks just keep on coming. 6 of them for the Green Bay D as Mills slow to get up. Jordan Mills playing against his cousin today, Tramon Williams. Louisiana natives.
It's been an afternoon of missed opportunities for the Bills as Mills makes his way to the sideline. This is perhaps a pick 6 here. Lewis dropping a sure interception. He might have been able to score. A dropped interception by White. And then a chance for a fumble recovery that goes by. As Nate Orchard a little bit late getting to it.
Well, for Sean McDermott, last year a surprise playoff appearance for the Bills, ended a 17-year drought, a 10-3 loss in Jacksonville in the wild card game. But Buffalo made a decision, and that was to start over at the quarterback position. Youth movement, Brandon Beane in his second year as the general manager of the Buffalo Bills. Last time the Packers had a shutout, got to go back to October of 2010 against the Jets. That was a 9-0 final. Second and 16. Allen swings it over to Kroom. Brought down along the sideline by Kentrell Bryce of Green Bay. 42 seconds and counting left in the fourth. The rush. Allen is devoured. Fackrell first man there, and he got some help. 7 Packers sacks. Oren Burks also involved for Green Bay.
Now that's how important this shutout is to Mike Pettin, new defensive coordinator, and this Green Bay defense coming with the blitz throughout this last series of plays, trying to keep the Bills off the scoreboard, and they will.
And that's 3 for Fackrell, and that's it. 10 straight September home games without a loss for the Green Bay Packers. 22-0 is your final. Bonus action coming up. The NFL on CBS.